my question is to the Premier. There is a plan by the government to eliminate 140,000 childcare spaces in the province of Ontario. The Association of Daycare Providers said just yesterday, and I quote, that your Liberal plan would not only do little to prevent illegal daycare centres from operating, it could push many licensed childcare centres into closing. This will amplify the childcare shortages across the province of Ontario, particularly in suburban and rural communities like the ones I represent. I would caution the government against this plan that they've got in place that is being debated this afternoon. So I would ask the Premier if she will pull her plan to eliminate 140,000 childcare spaces across the province and instead consult with childcare operators right across the province.
Premier.
Minister of Education.
Minister of Education.
Yes, I'm not sure, but perhaps, and I would understand with all the things that happened yesterday, that perhaps the member opposite missed this. But the Ombudsman actually released his report yesterday investigating the ministry's capacity to deal with unlicensed daycare and how we followed up on complaints. And I would like to say that, in fact, the Ombudsman of this province has made a number of recommendations, 113 recommendations, and actually noted in his report that Bill 10, the legislation that we began lead off on yesterday and are debating this afternoon, that Bill 10 addresses 35 of the recommendations, and he exhorted us to get on with dealing with it quickly and passing it quickly.
Supplementary.
It's pretty simple. She's only meeting a third of his recommendations. Above and beyond that, Speaker, this is the big challenge and something that the minister probably doesn't want out there today, but this is what the Ombudsman actually said. It's about a government that put kids at risk through, quote, years of bad administration and neglect. That's from him. That means the ministry has failed. He used words like this: the ministry has neglected, lack of communication, careless and inconsistent complaint intake practices to describe your ministry. And now, because of the government's malfeasance, 140,000 childcare spaces are at risk in this province. The Liberal plan that is before this Assembly will do nothing to fix the problem. So if the government is not going to pull the bill, which is a bad bill, which childcare operators across the province are saying is a bad bill, will at least the minister commit today to travelling across affected communities right across this province in suburban and rural Ontario.
Thank you. Minister.
Speaker, I will commit to doing exactly what the Ombudsman recommended, which was to pass the bill as quickly as possible. That's what I will commit to. And I suggest that the member opposite actually might want to read what the Ombudsman said a little bit more closely, because he pointed out that we have already addressed 95 of his recommendations, that there are another 60 that we have addressed by doing things like creating a dedicated enforcement unit to look at unlicensed daycare complaints, that we have put in place searchable websites so parents can get the information about unlicensed home providers. And what I would finally is, if you look at the
Stop the clock, please. Stop the clock, please. I'm going to ask the member from Simcoe North to come to order, but I'm going to use what he said as a springboard to my recommendation that I've always used. Please use people's titles and their ridings only. It lowers the temperature, and I don't want it raised. Please finish. Wrap up.
I would like to read to you the Ombudsman concluding remark. In the past year, the ministry has made genuine and focused efforts to rise to the challenge of ensuring that Ontario has a proactive, timely, risk-based and effective system for monitoring unlicensed childcare operations. That's what the Ombudsman said.
New question? Member from Sudbury.